When it comes to working in a small business versus working in a big corporate, I've had the benefit of working in both. I used to work in big corporate. I worked there for many years, and now I work in a small business environment. Not necessarily just us as a company being a small business, but I also work with small to medium enterprises on a day-to-day basis. So I've got an idea of what the differences are between working for big corporate and working for a a small business. Actually, I started this business from scratch, so I can say very small and growing a small business. Thinking about corporate, really, I think the big thing with big corporates is that in different roles, you find that you don't necessarily work, you don't have full oversight into everything. You get a particular area that you work in and you just do that part. You don't see a full value chain of the process. If you are just a person who uploads, I don't know, who uploads maybe payments, you would maybe in a bigger corporate, you would just focus on uploading payments. We are accountants and auditors, and I work for big audit firms. So in that particular example, in the bigger audit firms, when you work there, you focus on particular areas. So if it's auditing, you are auditing a client or a business, you would not necessarily have a full view of the whole audit process. You might just then be assigned to do maybe one section, to say you focus on receivables, or you focus on bank and cash, right? But comparing that to in a smaller business, where here in a smaller business you get a full view of the value chain. You actually might be assigned as a person to work on a project alone. So from beginning to end, you are responsible for that project. Now, I think from a career development point of view, it's obviously depending on where you are in your career. If you start off your career in a smaller firm, you get exposure to that full view or full value chain, understanding the process from beginning to end. You get exposure to, I think, in my opinion, you get to develop quite quicker as opposed to a person who's just focusing within the same experience level, and they are just focusing on a particular section of the value chain of the process. And I mean, to be fair, in the bigger corporates, these processes, it's not practical to give it to one person, right? So the complexity there comes in as well. But from a development point of view, as a professional, you might find that it becomes more valuable, or it helps you improve quicker and improve better, learn faster when you are in a maybe small to medium working in a small to medium environment, because of the exposure, really. And when you're working on a project alone from beginning to end, your skills of engaging with the customers are going to improve. They're going to develop quicker. Your skills of managing projects are going to develop quicker. Your skills of solving problems are going to develop quicker, because you are the only one working in that particular project. And that's not to say that in the bigger corporates, it's not going to develop. It is going to develop at a different level. You will come across problems and issues within those sections that you are assigned. It's just that you are then limited to a particular section of the pie. You don't see the pie in its entirety. And I think another thing really that you can think about working in a big corporate as opposed to or versus working in a small business is the where you are working, the environment where you are working. In a small business, everyone knows you by name. You are literally just like family, really, because you are working in an environment where you know everybody. In a bigger corporates, I mean, I've worked in the bigger corporates that I've worked with. I'm telling you, I meet people, they tell me they've worked there. I don't know them. I have never seen them, because these are big corporates, right? In a small business environment, if you work here, we will know you, you will know us. We even get to know each other more on a personal level. And I think in a small business environment, there's a bit more people care, because it's a tight-knit community. People care about you. They want to know more about you. And not, in my experience at least, not necessarily a similar thing or the case within big corporate. I mean, in big corporate, to be honest with you, if you resign tomorrow, I'm telling you, they will forget about you. They will forget about you. Whereas as opposed to a small business, because of that tight-knit community and so on, it's felt much more. People get to feel it a bit more, to say, oh, we've lost a team member or a team member has left. And even when a team member joins, we feel it the same way. Really, it just, that's just how it is because of the nature of the team, the small size of the team. So everything is just at that scale. And then another thing really is impact. That's the biggest thing, I think, for me. Impact. When you're working in the big corporates, aside that small section, really, I don't think you can have as much impact in what you are doing. You would have impact, but I don't think your impact would be as if it were in a small to medium business or enterprise. Like in my example, if you are running a project from start to finish, you would feel that I'm adding value, and you would feel that I'm having an impact. You're having to sit across your clients and you're engaging with your clients. Immediately you feel that impact. And I think that's one of the things, the biggest things that I think would be, it's an advantage in when it comes to working in a small to medium business. Well, working for big corporate, I've done it. It's good. I would say that it's something that if you are keen on, or if it's something that you are interested in, go and try it. It might be for you. Go and try it. But really, working in a small to medium environment for me has been that thing that just unlocked the fact that you know that I'm creating an impact, in as much as it's at a small scale, but I know that the work that I do matters. I can see the value add to the client, and that impacts really, if you are the person who wants to have impact and a person who wants to have, add value to people's lives and see how, your actions can impact other people's actions positively. Really, a small to medium environment really does that. It does that. With bigger corporates, really, I feel that because they're operating at such a mass scale, it's even hard to even get to know your leaders. It's difficult to get to know your leaders. But in a small to medium business, you're actually working with your leaders. You're working with people who started the business. You're getting to learn from people, directly from people who are owners or founders of the business. And I think that experience also gets to be very valuable if you are working side by side with such people, getting access to them, asking them questions, learning how they do things, learning how they operate. It can quickly progress you in life. It's actually mentorship in disguise. It's mentorship in disguise, because you are getting to see firsthand how are these people running these businesses, how are these people operating their companies, and how are they building their empires, or whatever the case might be. So in big corporates, really, I don't know if that you can ever have access to that. I don't think you can ever have, because even the people that are your leaders in big corporate, I don't even think they have skin in the game, in that sense of that they own these big companies. They're just there as employees. So which makes it very difficult to have that authenticity and that, mentorship kind of relationship where you can even learn from a distance. So that's one of the things that I think within the small to medium business space are quite beneficial and positive. So if you are sitting there thinking, I'm working in a small to medium environment, it's not too great, there are these challenges, there are those challenges, I think you might be surprised when you go to these big corporates that, I actually learned a lot. My development within a small to medium business enterprise space was quite good. And you will be surprised that in the bigger corporate side of things, you are actually, surprised how the progress is not as quick as it is on the ground with small to medium businesses. So, but if it's a question of, you can try it, you can go ahead and try it, maybe it will be for you. But for me, I found it to be quite tricky. I liked it when I worked there, but it was just not for me. And I like it in a small to medium environment because of the impact, really the impact that you get to have in people's life. Really, I believe that for me, that's what I should be doing, and it matters most to me. And honestly speaking, within the small to medium, obviously the financial reward is not the same. We have to be honest about that. It's not the same. That's why you have to look at other things. Is my work impactful? Is that what's important to me? Right? And also, it might not start as financially rewarding as in the bigger corporates, but over time, You grow the business and the financial rewards will come. The financial rewards will come, but at the same time, you are fulfilled, you are happy, and you are doing what impacts people, what matters. And you can feel that I'm adding value, I'm having an impact. And perhaps even if it's a purpose thing, you are thinking, am I living out my purpose? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? So maybe it's even a conversation about that. But there's nothing wrong with corporate. Corporates are good, big corporates are amazing. We want to work there, but unfortunately, not everyone can work there. Not everybody can work in big corporates. So that being said, consider also thinking about working within the small to medium business enterprise, because I believe even in this economy, these are the businesses that are creating most jobs. These are the businesses that are hiring people, hiring young people, fighting unemployment. And really, that's where impact is, in my own opinion, in my own observation. That's where impact is. Let me know what you guys think when it comes to working for big corporates versus working for SMEs or small to medium enterprises. What do you prefer? What is your experience? Have you worked on one side or the other? What was your experience on this side or that side? Please let me know in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next video.